Interesting perspective, and maybe we'll watch for some of that. I also want to bring in another story that we've been tracking, and that is the election result in Alberta. Danielle Smith and her United Conservative Party continue to remain in power. They have a majority, but it's with fewer seats. Tara Weber brings us through what was a very interesting election cycle.
It certainly was. The last 4 weeks have been quite a campaign to watch on both sides. So what we are seeing last night is Danielle Smith has eked through with that solid majority, but she has lost 14 seats. That includes 4 cabinet ministers, largely in the healthcare space, which is interesting in and of itself. So the UCP's 11-seat margin of victory has now made it the closest provincial election we've seen since Alberta became a province back in 1905. And of course, remember, one of those MLAs has already been banished to sit as an independent. Another has to be the speaker. So this is really a pretty tight squeeze. And as we were talking about yesterday, the battleground was really here in Calgary, and the NDP fought really hard. So according to these results from last night, the NDP captured 14 out of the city's 26 seats. And just for context, back in the 2019 election, the NDP just won 3 of those ridings. So this election has really exposed a very clear divide now, and one that's growing in the electorate, with the more rural ridings favoring the UCP and the major urban centers of Calgary and Edmonton really strongly represented now by the NDP. So just in terms of what this means for Alberta moving forward, Premier-elect Smith has promised to fight efforts to slash emissions from the province's oil sands. She wants to address labor shortages and really keep Alberta the lowest tax regime in Canada. So saying last night, we're throwing our doors open for businesses large and small. And I should also note she was very conciliatory towards NDP leader Rachel Notley after this pretty acrimonious election campaign. She's promising now to govern for all Albertans, and Rachel Notley says she will remain and stay on as leader of the opposition party.
You touched on the urban-rural divide there, and the Conservatives obviously, I think you said, picked up almost all the rural seats, and the NDP did the same in Edmonton and Calgary. I'm thinking about the federal election coming and what that might mean for how voters across the country are looking at these, the left-wing parties versus the right-wing party, and the Conservatives under Pierre Poilievre.
You know, that's a really good point. And one of the things we've really seen in Alberta is a huge influx of new Canadians and Canadians from other parts of the country moving to Alberta. And largely they go to the large urban centers. And that's what many are speaking to when it comes to what we're seeing with this democratic shift in the way people vote. You know, we do have this tried and true historical favor towards the UCP in this province. We have basically been a sea of blue for the province's history, but things are starting to change, especially in those urban areas. So you're right, it's a very interesting time right now, because when you think about Alberta, we have a lot of jobs here, and this is where a lot of people come, and that does change the makeup in a major way.
Well, and Mark kind of alluded to this in talking about the federal government. A lot of the notes that I'm reading are talking about how this result pits the province against the federal government's initiatives, particularly on green energy.
Yeah, this is really setting up some potential clashes. So as we heard Smith last night in her speech, she came out swinging. So she is calling on Albertans to stand up against policies, including Ottawa's proposed oil and gas emissions cap, the clean energy regulations. Those are expected to be unveiled within weeks. She's also saying that the federal government's climate policies will destroy tens of thousands of jobs in the oil and gas sector, which of course is a major driver of Alberta's economy. So Ottawa has laid out that plan to cut carbon emissions by 45% by 2030, and that's going to be all but impossible without significant reductions from Alberta. And Smith is fiercely opposed to any cuts to oil production. So that's something that's definitely going to be on the table right now. And obviously she's ramping up that opposition. All
right. Thanks so much to Tara Weber for that reporting. Mark, do you see this as kind of a microcosm for what could play out at the federal level?
Well, there's 2 points there. I think the Conservatives, the hint here is that if you don't win any urban seats in this country, it's going to be tough to form a government, right? And I think that's why Conservatives spend so much time, weekdays and weekends in urban Canada and Vancouver and Burnaby and Brampton and Mississauga and Toronto, meeting the very kind of new Canadians that she mentioned. I think the Trudeau Liberals must be really happy, frankly, that they have someone to fight with, Frank, because that gets attention on the topic that they want to talk about, right? Which is this the transition to the new economy. And let's not be silly. If Canada pumps no more oil, it won't change anything with the global supply of oil, because someone else is going to turn on the tap a little wider and backfill. So we have to be frank about our role in all of this. We're 1.5% of the world's greenhouse gases. If we all go back to 1850 farming and use of electricity and no more carbon engines, it won't have any
Well, I don't think we're doing it alone. There are global targets.
It won't have any bearing on what Panama is doing with new coal plants or China, right? So I think Alberta's got a point, and the Liberals know that. We're not going to hit the targets anyway, and they've been 2030. They've been in government now for almost 8 years.